Okay, we should be live. Just check this out. Yeah, that should be okay. We have the sound going. It's based on procedural animations, by the way, techniques. So go check it out. You can see if AI will be eating you alive, or will you be able to survive. The other thing, yeah, we have some paper visualization PDF extract. This one actually, unfortunately, just works with the specific paper. I don't know what's up. Let me know if you check it out. Let me know what you think. It shows you, yeah, the knowledge graph is actually quite useful in understanding papers. We might use it in a bit, try it on other papers as well, and we'll be doing a review. If you have any papers that you want me to review, do let me know. Yeah, I'll be essentially focusing on processing EEG data with epilepsy, with seizures in it. We'll go over the specific data sets. We already have something running currently only locally. Yeah, I'll have all the data summary. Yeah, I'll go over that. Yeah, quickly, there's this survey that someone published online. We do specify, I don't know, should we submit it or not? We can specify that we did it using AI because we actually want to know what the AI got to say about it. So using ChatGPT 4.5, it's not a reasoning model, just supposedly the best normal model, whatever the generative model that we have. I don't know, other models are recursive or something, I'm not sure. But yeah, let's quickly read that and comment as we go.
This image shows a survey form asking respondents to rate their current level of knowledge about various health fields. The rating scale provided ranges from very low to very high, with intermediate points labeled below average, average, and above average. The listed health fields are medicine, audiology, nursing, physiotherapy, social work, optometry, speech therapy, dietetics, occupational therapy, pharmacy, radiography, dentistry, oral health, paramedicine, psychology. Each health field has corresponding radio buttons to select the appropriate knowledge level.
Yeah, so it's, yeah, obviously we know by now that it can do really well with images, extracting text from images, understanding the context. And then we went, okay, to your best knowledge, can you answer the survey questions? And there we go.
Sure, I can give you a general sense of how I'd rate my knowledge based on what I've been trained on. I'd say my knowledge is very high in fields like medicine, nursing, pharmacy, psychology, and physiotherapy, since those are deeply covered in my training. For fields like audiology, optometry, speech therapy, radiography, and occupational therapy, I'd go with above average. I know quite a bit, but not always down to highly specialized levels. Dietetics, dentistry, oral health, paramedicine, and social work. I'd probably place those between average to above average, depending on how deep the question goes. Would you like me to go into detail on any specific field?
Yeah, can you just answer the questions? So do your ranking from within, for each one of the questions. So actually choose your radio bar for each item. Can you do that? Surely one suspected might refuse. I'll try to ask it nicely. Yeah, it's actually generating the stuff.
Live speak real time.
Oops. So that would be interesting. Okay, so it's actually making decisions so high and very high. So medicine, very high. Audiology, above average. And nursing, very high. Okay, that sounds very confident. Social work, above average. Yeah, I would say it should be like average or something, but okay. Optometry, above average. Speech therapy, above average. Dietetics, above average. Occupational therapy, pharmacy, very high. Okay, why is pharmacy very high? Radiography, above average. Now the question is like, why is it only above average and not very high? And dentistry, above average. Oral health, above average. Paramedicine, above average. Average. Psychology, very high. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, and it's answered based on its training knowledge. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, can you, how about these questions in the image attached? Can you just quickly go over them and give your answer to your best knowledge? It will be greatly appreciated if you share your answers. And again, this is not a reasoning model. It's a research preview model, so some sort of demo mode, but it's whichever one is actually answering we will use. Okay, I have clear. Okay, we'll let it read it. Yeah, it's interesting how it's actually making decision. Very interesting. I would say they're highly biased because it's essentially rating its own capabilities. Okay, let's read it quickly.
Certainly. Here's how I would answer this survey based on my knowledge and understanding. Scale: strongly disagree, disagree, neither agree nor disagree, agree, strongly agree. 1. I have a clear understanding of the roles and responsibilities of audiologists. Strongly agree. 2. I am familiar with the various services provided by audiologists. Strongly agree. I understand the educational and training requirements for becoming an audiologist. Agree. 4. I am aware of the different settings in which audiologists work. Strongly agree. 5. I understand the potential impacts of hearing loss on an individual. Strongly agree. 6. I am knowledgeable about the different causes of hearing loss. Strongly agree. I am familiar with strategies for promoting healthy hearing practices and preventing hearing loss. Strongly agree. I am aware of the signs and symptoms that may indicate a patient needs an audiology referral. Strongly agree. 9. I believe it is valuable for my profession to collaborate with audiologists for patient care. 10. I am interested in learning more about audiology and hearing. Strongly agree. These answers reflect my general training and knowledge base on audiology and related areas. Let me know if you have additional questions.
Okay, so essentially it strongly agreed on everything except I understand the educational and training requirements for becoming an audiologist. That one's like lower. Just agree instead of strongly agree. Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, so here I'm saying it's AI. Let's actually specify which model. ChatGPT 4.5. Yeah, that's very, very interesting. Considering I didn't think it would even answer these questions to begin with, but it's keen, or at least 4.5 is keen. Not sure what any of the other models would have done. We can check. Okay, now when it's thinking for that long, there's probably a problem. Is the chat getting too long? It's just sticking, obviously. It was just stick everything under the sun. Would be interesting. Would be a super. Well, I would select. What? Let's read it.
Certainly. Based on my perspective and interest in continuous learning, here's how I would answer this question by selecting all applicable activities. Undergoing an audiology assessment, i.e. hearing test.
Tick.
Lectures, workshops, tutorials,
Yes.
watching educational videos,
Okay.
listening to a podcast,
Sure.
collaborating to provide care to a simulated patient,
Okay, that's an
joint
interesting one.
placement, problem-based learning, PBL, session, collaborating on a research project, I wouldn't select none, and there isn't a specific other that I would add, since the options provided already cover comprehensive learning opportunities.
Okay,
Let
fair
me know
enough.
if you need anything else.
Yeah, it's getting slower and slower for whatever reason. Yeah, we'll be looking at this data set. Should be a link at the bottom of the page. Yeah, it's on Physionet. It's quite old, but it should be a fairly decent data set. "22 subjects." Yeah, we're already displaying the data. We'll be moving to the next stage. Okay, something went wrong. Is that the new model? Let's go. Go back to GPT-4o. Great question. Yeah, it doesn't seem to know the context of the conversation, but let's read it quickly.
Great question. If I were looking to deepen my understanding of audiology, here are the areas I'd be most interested in learning more about. 1. Emerging technologies in audiology. Innovations like AI in hearing aids, teleaudiology, and cochlear implant advancements. 2. Interdisciplinary collaboration. How audiologists work alongside other health professionals like ENT specialists, speech therapists, neurologists. 3. Cultural and age-specific approaches. How audiology practices adapt for pediatric versus geriatric patients and for diverse communities. 4. Preventive audiology and public health. Strategies for noise-induced hearing loss prevention and community education programs. 5. Assessment techniques and tools. A deep dive into audiometric tests, pure tone, tympanometry, otoacoustic emissions, and how they're interpreted. 6. Patient communication and counseling. Best practices for delivering diagnoses and supporting patients emotionally and socially. 7. Audiology in complex cases. Hearing issues related to trauma, neurological disorders, or rare genetic conditions. 8. Career paths and specialization. Opportunities for research, clinical work, education, or industry roles within the field. Would you like me to help put this into a response you can copy and paste into a form or survey?
Okay, yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah, just answering like a human, just mimicking a human, that's fine. This one we will answer ourselves, so that's ChatGPT 4.5. Is it a working professional or a student? I already answered that. Yeah, it wouldn't let me go forward. Did answer all the questions. Oh. Okay, let's go back. Physiotherapy. Let's say very high. Okay. Okay, this will be interesting to answer those from ChatGPT. How many years? So we said it's ChatGPT. Yeah, we'll be having trouble with those. Let's just upload, see what it says. What? No, but how about yourself as an AI tool? So it's about 5 years old. We actually have to answer this. So say 5. And yeah.
Good question. As an AI, I don't have a career path, personal age, or work experience in the human sense, but if I were to answer from my AI perspective, it might look like this. How many years have you been working in your current health profession? Over 20 years. In knowledge terms, I've been trained on decades worth of medical literature, guidelines, and clinical information. What is your age? Not applicable. But if I had to play along, I was first released in 2020, so I'm about 5 years old in human time. Of course, that's a little tongue in cheek, but it gives you a sense of how I fit into this kind of form. Want to keep going with the survey or need help compiling your final responses?
Okay, just the last few questions and still answering as AI tool or agent, whatever you call yourself. What do you call yourself?
Good question. As an AI, I don't have a Absolutely. Here's how I would answer these last few questions as your trusty AI sidekick. What is your gender? Prefer not to say. I don't have a gender, but I support all identities equally. What country are you currently living in? Not applicable. I exist in the cloud, kind of like being everywhere and nowhere at once. If you would like to hear about the results of this study, you can provide your email here, optional. That's a wrap. I don't have an email address, but I'm always here if you want to talk about results. And that's a wrap. Let me know if you'd like to compile everything into a summary or need help submitting the full form.
in this website called bionichaos.com, and we just redeployed because we have a few new tools to share. Well, actually, I keep forgetting, but in Visual Studio Code, yeah, the GitHub Copilot really doesn't like when you have too many files open. So I have to open a separate Visual Studio Code window session. Or not sure. We have this Python code checking the site. Right, and this one is ready to go, just missing a link on the landing page. But is it ready to go? I don't think so. I have some obvious issues. Yeah, we do eventually want to, reading the dataset, loading the files, pre-processing, filtering, artifact removal, segmenting. Yeah, I think it's already segmented. A feature extraction, time domain, frequency domain, and non-linear. Yeah, those are all really interesting. A lot of these things eventually, even if they sound promising, a lot of it will be determined by the implementation, because you can change the dataset slightly and get very different results. But that's just my experience. A feature selection, dimensionality reduction, validation, yeah, reporting. Don't care about reporting. Well, reporting in the YouTube video and on our website. So if we actually have something working, that will be awesome. Yeah, so I was thinking just focus on like a viewer for the data. Okay, and some things work pretty well already. Wait, might we able to scroll? View summary, yep. And we can collapse it. Yeah, we have the sampling rate. Okay, we're already doing it, so we might as well. Yeah, we actually will run it from here. Yeah, we won't have the log up, that's okay. We'll worry about it later. And the file structure folder should be updated. Okay. Okay, can you text only without generating any code briefly explain the web application in continuous text suitable for text to speech, and also try and find any issues with the code, but just explain them in text only. So this is 4.0 in GitHub Copilot.
This web application is a visualization and analysis tool for the CHB-MIT Scalp EEG seizure database. It allows
right.
users to select EEG recordings, view seizure annotations, and visualize EEG data on a canvas. The application fetches and parses EDF files, EEG data, and associated seizure metadata from .seizures and summary files. It provides features like a drop-down for file selection, debug tools for viewing summary files, and a reload button to refresh data. The visualization includes a table for seizure details and a canvas for plotting EEG signals with seizure markers. Potential issues in the code include error handling. While there is some error handling, the application may fail silently or display generic error messages if files are missing or improperly formatted. For example, the .seizures file or summary file parsing could fail without clear feedback to the user. Caching logic. The data cache object is used to store parsed data, but there is no mechanism to clear old or unused cache entries, which could lead to memory issues during prolonged use. 3. Hard-coded file paths. File paths for EDF and summary files are hard-coded, which may cause issues if the directory structure changes or if files are moved. 4. Limited data validation. The parsing functions assume specific file formats and may break if the format deviates. For example, the .seizures file parsing relies on a strict regex pattern. 5. UI responsiveness. The application uses a fixed canvas size and may not adapt well to different screen sizes or devices, potentially affecting usability on smaller screens. 6. Security concerns. The application fetches files directly from the server without authentication or validation, which could expose it to unauthorized access or tampering. 7. Performance. The visualization and data parsing are synchronous and may block the UI for large files, leading to a poor user experience. These issues could be addressed by improving error handling, implementing dynamic file path resolution, adding data validation, optimizing caching, and enhancing UI responsiveness.
Just focusing on 5, can you elaborate on that? How would you improve the UI?
The current UI has a fixed canvas size and may not adapt well to different screen sizes or devices, which can negatively impact usability, especially on smaller screens like mobile devices or tablets. Here are some suggestions to improve the UI. Responsive design. Use CSS Media Query.
I didn't expect that to stop reading. And probably don't need the 3.7 Sonnet thinking, we'll just use the 3.7 by itself. And if we supposedly pop this button to the last request, yes. So it moved the text into the editor and it's running over the code. We'll see if it can do a better UI. There's obviously many other things we could. Can we use them both at once? It fixed something, broke something else. Can we actually make sure the EEG canvas is actually displaying the data?
I'll update the Draw Canvas function to properly display the EEG data with zoom and pan functionality. Here's a fix for the script.js file. Script.js. Fix the Draw Canvas function to ensure it properly renders the EEG data with zoom and pan functionality. Forward.
Okay, we don't need to read the code. assume there's no pan. There seems to be a zoom functionality, but no panning. I don't know if it's intentional or not. Can you also include update the description of what the web application is doing at the bottom of the page?
I'll fix the error with the constant variable assignment and make sure panning works correctly. I'll also update the description at the bottom of the page. Script.js. Fix the mouse drag event handler for panning by using let instead of const for start X and start Y. // existing code. // enhance.
Yeah, the click and drag. The mouse scroll works. Yeah, there's something wrong. It's supposedly Claude is fixing this for us. Okay, now panning works. The zoom works. Reloading, double clicking works. Just quickly, text response only without any code. Are we loading the whole EEG from the data file or just some of it? So I know we're loading only one channel, is that correct? But then even within channel, are we loading all the data points or not?
You're correct, the parser doesn't load the whole EEG. It only reads a small sample from one channel, specifically, the first 100 data points from that channel, for demonstration purposes.
Okay, so just text only without the code. How do we instruct another developer to address this? Yeah, we don't want to bias it, we just...
Instruct the developer to modify the file selection change handler so that it clears any existing error messages and debug information, such as a previously loaded summary, before calling load sample data. This ensures that selecting a new file always starts with a clean state and that any cached or previously displayed debug data is removed or reset as needed.
No, but that's not what I meant. I meant when we are loading the data file, assumingly it's loading correctly, can we only display whatever 10-20 second window, but then also allow scrolling and seeing where the seizure is starting, because we have the start time, end time, and the duration of the seizure.
You can implement a viewport that displays only a 10 to 20 second segment of the EEG data initially, while adding scroll or pan controls to shift the visible window along the timeline. The seizure metadata, start time, end time, and duration, can be used to highlight the seizure area within the full timeline. The plan would be to load the sample data as it is, assuming it's a subset, then use zoom/pen logic in the visualization to show different windows of the data, allowing the user to scroll to the seizure's location.
Now, would the scroll scroller be better?
A scroll controller could be a good approach. It lets users navigate through a longer timeline when only a 10 to 20 second window is initially shown, making it easier to jump to areas marked by seizure start and end times without reloading data.
Okay, so can you update the instructions to the developer?
Update the visualization logic so that only a fixed 10 to 20 second window of the EEG data is initially displayed. Implement a scroll controller, or pan functionality, for the EEG canvas. This allows users to scroll horizontally across the full timeline. Use the seizure metadata, start time, end time, and duration, to highlight seizure segments on the timeline. Integrate the scroll/pen controller with the existing canvas drawing code, e.g., draw canvas, so that the visible segment updates in real time as the user scrolls. Ensure the UI provides clear controls or an interactive scroll bar to let the user easily navigate to different sections of the data, including the seizure regions.
Okay. And let's pop these 3 files into 3.7 Sonnet. The problem, the one thing we need to watch for is currently in the browser we're loading like 32 megabytes. Because once we load the entire file, it might get out of hand, even though the file is only 40 megabytes. But then, yeah, with all the parsing and everything, might still get out of hand. Okay, so now we'll have 2 minutes up to minutes of data instead of just 100 samples. The visualization will show it's just went bang in the middle between 10 to 15, so it will show 15 seconds and we can scroll through the full recording. Why is it only 2 minutes though? Is it possible to load the whole file? Okay, it says seizure. Where's the seizure? With error. And no, so what's up? Reloaded data. Yeah, the data is there, isn't there? We normally only have one seizure per file. Yeah, we have the summary. Yes, this each one of those files have one seizure. It's not loading properly. Ooh, this loading is just taking some time. We have a scroller. Where's the seizure? This looks like EMG artifact. Okay, now the zooming in and out doesn't work. Okay, it does work, but there's something weird. It's working with control now. Reload data. It's taking some time to load, and it's only 2 minutes. Yeah, the page now is 83 megabytes. Even though, again, the file is only 40 megabytes. So yeah, the scroll is fine. Hey, there's no indication of what's going on. Okay, there's actually no indication of what's going on. Is the data currently loading, or is it being loaded already? I have already about 40 megabytes, 40 to 80 megabytes in the display. Data from summary. Yeah, so there is can we make sure the data is loading correctly? And if it takes some time, we need some sort of indicator that it's currently being loaded. But don't do any like wouldn't let me finish. That's okay.
I'll add better loading indicators and status messages to make it clear when data is being loaded and when it's ready for viewing. Here's how I'll improve the user experience. Step-by-step solution. Create a clearer loading indicator that shows progress for EDF data loading. Add status messages about data load progress. Implement a visible loading overlay that clearly indicates when data is being processed. Add file size information to help users understand large data loading.
Do I have the thing deployed at this URL on this site? Yeah, currently it says loading data. It's actually loaded at OK. It has 75 megabytes in memory. Can select the different data file. It says loading again. Yep, it's showing you that. I'm pretty sure if we select the first one, it will. No, I was wrong. I thought it will just display it instantaneously, but no, it's loading again. And now we actually improve. Now it's only loading 100 data points. We wanna obviously load more, but if it's this slow, yeah, I thought if we load it first time, then you can switch between the data files in no time. But let's see, it's loading the fourth one now. Okay, it's finished loading. I'm pretty sure we already loaded the first one, but yeah. For some reason it's loading it again. It's not storing it in cache or anything, which is a bit of a problem. Might have to change the folder structure. Add a static folder. Yeah, because we don't want to be loading for that long every time. Okay, let's go back to the server, the local version. Okay, still 80 files. Okay, eventually I do see something, but the zooming. Yeah, you can select your window size. Yeah, ideally we get rid of these files and just load the whole patient in a more dynamic fashion. Yeah, the description for the dataset says, yeah, there might be gaps. So this one, for example, ending at 3:30:55, and the next file only starting 3:31:02. So you have like a missing data there. That should be fine. Yeah, when we have seizures, the time is in seconds from assuming the beginning of the file. So if the file is yes, so all the files are one. What are they? 1 hour. 1 hour. Yet they are 1 hour. And this patient has bugger all seizures. Set the loaded 40 megabytes. I know the file is we have 39 megabytes loaded in the browser. I know the file is 40 megabytes. It's 120 seconds of data loaded. Why I can't see it? Yeah, there's something wrong with the display. Yeah, I would say we'll have to start from scratch on this one. and do like a different loading. If we're training a model on this, we want to show how the model is trained potentially as we load more and more data into the system. So can we do like a basic live training?
I'll help make sure the EEG data is displayed properly. Let me check and update the code. Script.js. I'll enhance the EEG visualization code to ensure proper data display.
Yeah, we'll continue next time. Don't forget to check the website. We have everything we do is eventually available on this site. And don't forget to provide your feedback. See you next time. Bye.
I'll update the code to load more EEG data 30 minutes instead of the current 2 minutes. Here's how I'll implement this change. Script.js // existing code //